Hi there. For today's reading lesson, we are going to go over story structure. Now, I know we've gone over story structure before in the past, but it's always good to go over certain topics to help our brains get a little refresh, right? Because we might have gone over story structure back in November, and if I were to ask you, hey, what is story structure? You might forget, right? You might need a little refresher. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over story structure. So, when we talk about a story's structure, we talk about the actions that happen that make up the story, right? There's all these different things that happen throughout the story that make up the story, right? All these different events that happen that make the story what it is. So, we need to remember that a story can be divided into 3 parts. I'm going to go ahead and let you think about what are those 3 parts. What are they called? Right, the beginning, the middle, and the end, the 3 parts. Okay, so let's look at the our anchor chart. So beginning, in the beginning, the character faces a problem, right? In the middle is made up of events that happen as the characters try to solve the problem that they're facing, right? And then at the end tells the resolution or how the character solved the problem. So I always tell my students, story structure is like a roller coaster. When you think of beginning, middle, end, think of a roller coaster, right? You're starting off slow, right? And then as you keep going, you're up at top and it's exciting. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening. And then you go to the end and everything's calm. So the beginning's real exciting, kind of going slow, and then you're on the top. And there's a whole bunch. You can see a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then you go to the end. It starts to calm down, right? So think of that when you think of beginning, middle, end, think of a roller coaster, right? And if you haven't been on a roller coaster, well, that's okay. Here's a little example for you. You start off going up. There's a whole bunch up here. You can see a whole bunch when you're up top. And then when you go to the bottom, still fun, but it's starting to slow down and calm down, all right? So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go grab a book real quick that we went over last week, and we're going to talk about the beginning, middle, end of it. All right, last week I read the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, all right? So, I actually read the play to you, but let's go ahead and look back and think about the beginning, middle, and end. All right, now in the beginning of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, Joseph is asked to look after the sheep, right? He's asked by his dad to look after the sheep for the village. So he goes up to the top of the hill, and he's sitting there, and I think he's thinking, okay, this is all right. But after a little bit of time goes by, what happens? He gets bored, and that's the problem right there. In the beginning of the story, Joseph gets bored, and he's just like, oh, what am I going to do? There's nothing to do, just sitting here. There's no wolves I need to look out for. The sheep are just eating. The people that are down there, I have no one to talk to, right? So that's what's happening in the beginning. He just gets bored, but then he comes up with a plan. And what is his plan? To pretend like he sees a wolf. So now we get to the middle of the story. Where he keeps constantly saying wolf, wolf, wolf. People go up to the top of the hill, and they don't see a wolf. They go back down. He does the next day. Wolf, wolf, wolf. They don't see any wolf. Does it again, goes back and forth, I think 3 or 4 times. So that's what happens in the middle. It keeps happening over and over again. But what happens next? We're still kind of in the middle. He actually sees a wolf. He calls for help, but nobody comes and helps him, right? Because they don't believe him, because he kept calling, saying that there was a wolf, and there wasn't a wolf. And they caught on that he was just lying, and they didn't like that. So the townspeople did not come to help him. So what happens after that? The wolf takes the sheep, right? And then at the end, how does the problem get solved? This one can be a little tricky, but Joseph is taught a lesson by his dad, He tells him you shouldn't lie because, well, he basically says he shouldn't lie because, you know, no one's going to believe you when you actually do need help. So he learns a lesson. That's how it ends. He learns a lesson. And he learns to, let me go back to that last page. Joseph knew he must always tell the truth so that people could believe him and trust him. So that's what he learned at the end. So that's just a little review of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. We just went from the beginning, middle, end. We talked about the problem, talked about the solution. Okay? So, all right, I hope you like that little review over story structure and the beginning, middle, and end of a story.